Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jonathan, and on today's video we're going to be talking about the Rolex Explorer II, and we're going to help you decide whether you want to go for a 40mm or a 42mm, and we've got some great examples to show you. So if that sounds your sort of thing, then please stay tuned. However, as usual, before we start today's video, it's a quick wristwatch check, and I've gone and taken something out of the Edinburgh Watch Company collection to show you, and it's one of 3 Oyster Perpetuals we currently have in stock. And this one, as you can see here, it has the coral red dial. Now this is a 41mm watch. It's one of our unworn examples. We've also got that gorgeous Tiffany, and we've got a dark blue one as well, and it is quite a looker. It really is. It's a lovely watch there. Beautiful range of colors that Rolex have brought out into the Oyster Perpetual range. And this one is actually discontinued as well. So that's, if someone's looking for something to put away and forget about, or just wear and enjoy, you love the color red, OPs may be worthwhile. It is overlist, of course they are, but it's a lot less than the Tiffany one. So there we are. So we talk today about the Rolex Explorer, a watch that has been in Rolex's collection for many, many years and a still very popular watch. They've done them in different sizes. They've done the 36mm and the 39mm, of course, in the Explorer 1, and then the Explorer 2, which we're going to talk about today, with the 40 and the 42mm. So first of all, we're going to kick off with something we've just taken in, and as you see here on my left-hand side, this is all of its original books and papers. I should just actually add all of these watches I'm going to show you, and all of the watches we have here at Edinburgh Watch Company, they've got all their books and papers. They're also all prepared beautifully. So this first watch we're going to show you, we took back recently as a part exchange. And this is a lovely Explorer II from 1995. And it has everything, even the original receipt, the papers, the inner, the outer box, the instructions, literally just everything. And it's a lovely, lovely looking watch. We took it in. There's some real telltale signs to this watch as to how it had been looked after. And that in particular is around the bezel and the clasp. The bezel on the Explorer II, like a Daytona, is its most prominent part really. It's the bit that can unfortunately get the marks, the knocks and the scratches. And it's very, very hard to remove them because you have the inked writing around the bezel here. But this one was absolutely lovely. And the other bit I'll show you later was actually the clasp. When you actually open and close the clasp, it's really, really tight. So the Explorer II in the 40mm, it's been out for many, many years. A watch made famous by Steve McQueen, and it also a watch worn by royalty. I love the 40mm. I think it's a really, really good size. This particular one, which we call the polar dial, is probably the most popular over the black one, but it's each to their own as to what they actually prefer. But it's very, very crisp, it's very, very easy to read, and it's a lovely slim watch as well. Now, apart from being an automatic with a chronometer movement, this generation accurate within about -4 to +6 seconds per day, one of the features of the Explorer II is it also has an extra time zone on it here. So this red hand here allows you to have time in 2 different parts of the world. Aside from that, you can see you have the date function there too, and then you use this outer bezel there to actually calculate your second time zone. As you mentioned earlier, it's an automatic watch. It's also a waterproof watch as well. So these really are watches designed to be worn for all occasions. The crown here screws into the side of the case. You can see here you have the crown guard protectors on it here. And it's made in Rolex's 904L grade stainless steel. On the side of the case there, you can see it's polished, and you see also how slim it is as well. It's lovely on the wrist, this watch. And then joins here this classic Oyster bracelet, and you can see there in its brushed stainless steel look to it. The clasp on it here is the traditional flip lock clasp there, and you can see there, look at the crown, look how thick that crown is. I don't think this watch has ever been polished before. And then it has the safety lock clasp as well. I was actually talking to a gentleman recently who was inquiring about this watch. At the time when these watches were made back in 1995, you had a choice of two types of clasp. That sort of traditional one, like a Datejust that push shut, or you can get the flip lock here that just locks over and gives you the comfort of that extra clip on the back of it. I'll pop this one on my wrist so you can have a quick look at that. And there we go. It is an absolute classic. The sort of watch if you bought, you know, people would think you'd had it for years, but I don't think it'll really go out of date. It's like that classic Porsche 911. If I just hold it up to camera here, again, you can just see how slim it is. Now this one being of that generation, this one was a 1995 watch. You can see here it's got the pinholes on the side of the case there, and also the bracelet here where it joins the clasp there. You can see pinholes there too. So it just means it makes it very, very easy to micro adjust the clasp for you just to get it exactly as you want it. Now when this watch came in, we sent it off to our watchmaker, and we asked them to have a look at it and give us a report on it, and they put it on all their timing gear and it actually passed with flying colors. And that's the first time this watch has been serviced in a very long time, and it just goes to show how well built these Rolex movements are. This one I think is the 3185 movement in this one. However, given the age of the watch, 1995, I said no, actually I want a full service on this watch. So the movement was taken out, it was completely stripped and rebuilt. While that was happening, we gave the bracelet a very gentle polish. So really now it's an absolutely pristine example of the watch. If we actually go back and look back when this watch was new, this goes to show they have gone up in price a bit there. It was £1,840, and I have to admire my customer's negotiating skills because he got £368 discount off it. Well, I think those days are gone, but there we are. That was back in 1995. So the original receipt, the original papers, just everything with it. So if you want a really well-made, just service, that's got a 2-year warranty on it, example of the classic 40mm Explorer, then this one is definitely worth a look at. So I'm going to put that one aside for a second because we're going to stay with a 40mm, but I've got another one here to share with you. Now this is one of the last of them. I think this one off the top of my head is round about a 2010. This has a different case design. You can see on the side there, it doesn't have the pinholes in it. I'm not sure if this is a 3185 or a 3186. We'd have to get that opened up and had a look at, but you know, we're not selling it as a 3186, but it might be. But one of the last of them, and again, an absolute pristine example with all its box and papers, and we can just let you see here the two beside each other. I've never owned a 40mm Explorer myself, but I have had a 42mm, which I bought new many years ago. And I remember being in the shop there and they had a choice. They said, look, do you want the black one or the white one? And the white one's probably the better seller, but for me, somehow I just went for the black. And I don't regret my decision. I think the black is really nice. And looking at the two here, they're just lovely in their own way. It'd be interesting to know what your thoughts are. Maybe just drop a comment below and let us know. But that is just a lovely vintage one, and for someone wanting one of the very last of them, in fact this one here has actually got, yeah, it's a G serial number. It's got the Rehort dial on it too, and yeah, same bracelet, again really nice thick crown, and just very, very nice on the wrist. Now we'll come back to these watches in a minute. I'll just hold this one up to camera and I'll go and put that white one beside it just to give you a little bit of that wrist look. I just wanted to do this video today just to try and help you, because I know it's hard sometimes imagining which is the right watch for you. What's it going to look like on the wrist? And a lot of the feedback we get from people who kindly take time to watch our videos, they really appreciate just seeing what it's actually like on the wrist to help them imagine what it might be like on their wrist. But of course, any of these watches we've got in stock. If you're interested in buying one, we'd love to show you it and let you see it on the wrist too, but these videos hopefully, you know, will help. So there we are, that's one of the last of the rehaut dials of the classic 40mm one. So fast forwarding the clock, I think to round about 2011, which is when the Explorer II came out. This is the Mark I Explorer II. So this is the 42mm case. This has the 3186 movement in it. And you can see right away, it is a bigger watch. And if we just put these two beside each other here, you can see the evolution between one and the other. Look at the size of the hour plots there on the right. Look at the ones here on the left. Really, really good lume on this dial for nighttime reading. Likewise on the hour hands there. And you can see the dual time zone red hand on the earlier 40mm has now changed to orange. There's a bigger hand there, again with some lume at the end of it. But the bezel's the same sort of style of design as that. Again, you've still got that date function with the 2.5 times magnification on there. You can see the sweeping hand going around there. Looking at here, if you look at the size of the crown lugs, they are slightly bigger here. Slightly bigger, more protection on this newer one than the older one. Also, when you have these two watches in your hand and you feel the difference, this one, it feels very, very light. Nothing wrong in that. When this watch is on your wrist, it just feels a part of you. It's absolutely lovely. But when you hold the two, you can almost hear this one rattling a bit. It's just, that's that age of that bracelet design. There's no play in it. It's just the way the bracelet is. But you go to the new one here with these solid links, solid end links, and everything just feels, it just feels like a bit of granite. There's no movement in it at all. Again, on the side there, it's not overly thick. Polished on the side, and then it's here mounted to this oyster bracelet there. Now, of course, one of the features of the new Explorer II, this older one didn't have, is that they introduced the Easy Link function to the clasp there. Also, if we just put that down a second and look here, you see this part of the deployant clasp there, it's pressed steel. It's fine, it works. But when you go to the new one, here, it's solid steel. You can just see how much more thicker it is. And a really nice click when it shuts. But when you need that little bit more space on the wrist, then all you have to do is you just pull this bit here, and there you go. You get an extra half link. For those who haven't watched our videos before, my wrist is an 8-inch wrist, so probably perfect for the 42, although I must admit I do still very much like the 40. It also sits very flat on the wrist. It's a really, really comfortable watch to wear. There you go, just holding up to camera there, you can see how slim it is. Definitely one for fitting underneath the shirt cuff. So back in about 2021, I think, is when the Explorer changed. They brought the new model out, and that's the one I'm going to show you now. And this is the reference number 226570. Not massive amount of aesthetical differences, just very subtle, which we'll put the two watches together in a minute. The key and the most beneficial really introduction to the watch was the new movement. This had the new 70-hour power reserve movement with more shock and resistance and magnetism resistance, but even the white one, the later white ones were sort of 2 seconds per day accuracy, and this one is definitely the same. So again, just comparing black with white, I wonder what your thoughts are, what your choice would be. Are you a polar dial or are you a black dial Explorer wearer? but they're both really, really nice. I remember comparing a couple of Explorers recently. We had the 42mm, I guess the Mark 1, and then this latest one here, and you could just see some of the font was just a bit crisper on it. The writing, the Rolex writing was just a bit more vibrant than the older ones. They made very little changes to the case. I think the bracelet link is slightly wider here on the new one, but not a massive difference. And I wouldn't really necessarily rush out and buy the new model 42mm over the old one. You know, if you can get a nice, I don't know, 2017, 18, 19 42mm that is the right budget for you, then I'd definitely consider that. But again, because prices now have come down a little bit, they are a bit more affordable than they were. But there we are, you can see just the two there together. And then let's actually put the old versus new there, in case you like thinking of, do I go 42mm black or do I go 40mm black? They're both rather nice, aren't they? I'll show you this one on the wrist too. Back up to camera. And we'll show you the black and white here. Both the 42s. I think I'd have to toss a coin. They're both so nice. This particular white one is also as lovely with the rubber B strap. They do the orange strap. It just works really well. Quite a fun new look to it. So yeah, maybe I'd have a change. Maybe I'd go for the white one. Don't know, maybe you just need to have both. Anyhow, there we are. That's the Rolex Explorer. A little bit of chat about the watch, showing you what it's like on the wrist, comparing 40, 30 versus 42mm. So I wonder which one you'd choose. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and your views. Maybe you've got some really good views on these watches, having worn one yourself, that would help other people perhaps decide whether they'd like to buy one, and all part of the sort of Edinburgh watch community. So come and share your thoughts. So there we are. That's our Rolex Explorer. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Lots more videos coming along soon. If that's been helpful, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to subscribe, then you'll be notified automatically of all the latest videos. Have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.